Hi everyone, this is Mr. Langham. I'm
Mhm.
just going to walk you through part one of the Autodesk tutorial. This is becoming familiar with the program. So for this part, we're just going to make a simple box with a hole in it, or hollowed out. So if you're looking at the instructions, the first part of this is we're going to go to our toolbar. This is how we're going to start creating objects, and we're going to click Create, and it's going to pop up. We have a drop down menu, and we're going to click on Box. So um, we can start creating a box in any one of these three planes. We're going to start with the bottom plane. It's usually the simplest, and this little crosshair is going to pop up, and we're just going to drag it out, and I'm going to make mine 1 inch by 1 inch. Now once I click, I'm going to have the start of my box. If we look here on the right, I can manually enter the dimensions, or I can just pull it up, and I'm going to do a 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch box, and we'll have something that looks like that. So I'm going to click OK. Now I have my box made. If you notice here, this is a type of drawing that should look familiar to us. This is our isometric drawing, which we've been drawing on paper. Now we have one on CAD. So the next thing we have to do is modify it. So up here at the top, we have all of our modify um, examples here, so we can do a lot with this object. We're just going to click on shell. This just hollows out the inside of the material. So I'll click on shell, and then I'm going to click on the front face. This is the part that I'm going to open up, and then it's going to highlight your box. You're going to see a little arrow here, and you can drag it depending on how much you want to hollow out. I'm going to hollow out most of it, leaving just 0.1 inches of thickness around the block, and then I'm going to click OK. And this is the object that I asked you to make for part one. We see an isometric image of a box that looks hollowed out. Now, another thing it's going to ask you to do is look at different views of it. So if we want to see the orthographic 2D images, we see this little box up here to the right. So for example, if I'm going to see the front side of it, I'll click on the front, and it'll show me the front side. Of course, we'll be able to see the hollow center and then the edges around the perimeter. So I can also flip back to the isometric image by clicking on the little house button in the top right. And then, of course, I can also click on the top, take a look at the top, and I can also click on the right. So I also want you to do some experimenting on your own. There's lots of different things you can do, like, for example, fillet. You can click on an edge, and you can round it out. You can also just completely cut off an edge. So if I just want to completely cut an edge off, I can do that as well, just like that. So lots of different options here for modifying your objects. Just another thing that we can also do, you can create a box on top of a box, just like this, and I can move it up. I can also cut through it and create negative space. Now I have a hole on top of my box. So these are just some things I want you to experiment with. Lots of different other modify tools you can use. So just do some experimenting in your own. I hope this helped. So good luck on your objects that you'll make in the future.